On our anniversary, she threw my gift into the trash. "I don't want this cheap handmade necklace." Her friends laughed. I didn't argue, I just quietly picked it up. A few months later, she wouldn't stop calling. After hearing that very same necklace had become the newest obsession among the upper class. It was supposed to be a nice anniversary dinner. Nothing fancy, just a small get-together at her place with some of her friends. I'd spent the last few weeks working on the gift. Something personal. Something that actually meant something. When she opened the box and saw the necklace inside, her smile froze. "What's this?" she asked. "It's handmade," I said. "I made it for you." She stared at it for a second, then gave this little laugh that wasn't really a laugh. "You made it?" Her friends leaned in to see. One of them whispered something, and they all started giggling. Sarah rolled her eyes and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I don't want some cheap handmade jewelry." Then she dropped it straight into the trash can next to her chair. The room went quiet, except for the faint clink of the chain hitting the bottom of the bin. I didn't say a word. I just stood up, walked over and picked it up. Her friends were still watching, waiting for me to react. I didn't. I just wiped it off with a napkin, put it in my pocket, and left. I've always worked with my hands. My dad was a carpenter, so growing up, I was around tools more than toys. I got into jewelry by accident, started fixing broken pieces for friends, then slowly moved to making my own. It's not the kind of job that makes you rich, but it pays the bills, and I love it. There's something about shaping metal, polishing a stone, and seeing it turn into something beautiful that never gets old for me. Sarah knew all that. We'd been together for about 2 years. She worked at a bank, made good money, and liked nice things. Designer bags, imported wine, luxury vacations. I didn't mind. We came from different worlds, sure, but I thought that's what made us work. She was sharp, organized, and confident. I was more quiet, steady, and patient. We balanced each other out. In the beginning, she actually liked the fact that I made jewelry. She'd brag to her friends that her boyfriend could make her anything she wanted. But over time, I noticed a shift. The more she climbed the corporate ladder, the more she started comparing me to the guys she worked with. The ones with company cars and expensive watches. She never said it outright, but I could feel it in small comments. The kind that sound harmless until you've heard enough of them, like, if we were out for dinner and I picked up the check, she'd joke, "You sure you can afford that?" Or when we passed a jewelry store window, she'd say, "One day, I'll get something from there." I'd just smile and brush it off. I wasn't insecure about money. I loved what I did, and I believed the right person would value that more than the size of my paycheck. So when our anniversary came up, I wanted to make something special. Something with meaning. Not bought from a store, not mass-produced, but something that came from me. I decided on a necklace, simple but with detail. I used a piece of silver I'd had in my workshop for a while and shaped it into a smooth pendant. Then I carved a small pattern around the edges. Tiny, interlocking leaves. It took hours of sanding and filing just to get it right. I added a small moonstone in the center. Nothing flashy, but when the light hit it, it had this soft blue glow. I finished it the night before her birthday. It looked perfect to me. Clean, unique, personal. I wrapped it in a small box with a ribbon and felt proud, like I'd made something that actually carried a piece of me in it. The next day, she invited me to her apartment for a small anniversary dinner. I thought it was just the two of us, but when I got there, the place was full. Her friends from work, a few old college buddies, even her boss. Everyone was dressed up, drinking wine, talking about weekend trips and investments. I didn't really fit in, but I smiled, shook hands, and found a spot by the counter. At one point, her friend Jessica asked, "So, what did you get her?" with this teasing grin. Sarah laughed and said, "I don't know yet, but I hope it's good." Everyone chuckled. I figured it was a good time to give her the gift, so I took out the box and handed it to her. She looked surprised, then smiled, at least until she opened it. You know the rest of what happened. The laugh, the trash can, the silence afterward. When I walked out of that apartment, I wasn't angry, just empty. I think that's worse in a way. Anger burns fast and fades, but disappointment just sits there. I went home, put the necklace on my workbench, and left it there for weeks. I didn't even look at it. Every time I walked past it, I felt that same sting in my chest. I told myself it was over, that it was for the best. And it was, but I didn't know then that the same necklace she'd thrown away would soon change everything. For a few weeks after that night, I didn't hear much from Sarah. A few short texts came through. "Hey. Hope you're doing okay. Can we talk?" I didn't reply. There wasn't anything left to say. You can't unsee someone throwing away something you made for them like trash. I focused on work instead. My shop's small, barely enough space for a bench, a counter, and a stool, but it's quiet, and it's mine. I'd come in early, turn on the radio, and lose myself in the rhythm of sanding, polishing, soldering. It kept my hands busy and my head quiet. That necklace sat in the corner of the workbench, exactly where I left it the night I came home. I told myself I'd melt it down someday, reuse the silver, but every time I picked it up, I'd end up setting it back down. Couldn't do it. Maybe pride. Maybe stubbornness. Maybe I just didn't want her to be the reason something I made disappeared. One afternoon, my buddy Liam dropped by. He's a freelance photographer who helps local makers with product photos. He spotted the necklace right away. "What's this?" he asked, picking it up. "Something that didn't exactly get the reaction I hoped for," I said. He laughed. "Oh man, she didn't like it? She threw it in the trash." Liam froze. "You're kidding." "Nope. Right in front of a room full of people." He set it down gently. "Dude, that's cold. But seriously, this is beautiful. You made this from scratch?" "Yeah, silver, moonstone. Took about a month." He turned it over in his hands. "You should show it somewhere. Post it online. Bring it to one of those boutique shops downtown. Don't let it just sit here." "I don't know, man," I said. "Feels weird putting something out there that's got history." "Exactly why you should," he said. "It means something. People like that now. Authentic stuff." He left me thinking. That night, I sat at my desk and looked at the necklace again. It really did look good. Clean lines, solid craftsmanship. Nothing flashy, but definitely unique. So I figured, why not? I took a few photos on a black background, wrote a short note about it being handmade, and emailed them to a small store I'd heard about. Luna & Co. A few days later. I got an email back. "Hi there. This piece is lovely. Would you be open to bringing it in so we can take a look in person? Claire, Luna & Co." When I met her that weekend, Claire greeted me like an old friend. She had that kind of calm energy you don't see much in retail. She looked over the necklace carefully under the lights, turning it in her hands. "This is really nice work," she said. "The detailing is subtle but clean. You made this yourself?" "Yeah," I said. "One of a kind," she nodded. "You can tell. It's got that personal touch. Would you mind if I put it on display for a while? I think someone will appreciate it." "Sure," I said. "Go for it." She asked how much I wanted for it. I told her to price it however she thought was fair. She suggested $400. That sounded more than fine to me. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. "Hey, this is Claire," she said, excited. "You're not gonna believe this. That necklace you dropped off, it sold this morning." "Already?" "Wow." "Yeah, to a customer with a huge social media following. She said she loved the story behind it." "What story?" I asked, half laughing. Claire chuckled. "One of my staff told her you made it for someone who didn't see its worth, and that it's about knowing your value." That hit her hard, apparently. That night, I looked up the influencer, Maya. She'd posted a picture of herself wearing the necklace with the caption, "True value doesn't need a label." The next day, my inbox exploded. People were asking about the moonstone necklace, if I had more, if I could make custom ones. Even my sleepy Instagram page got flooded with messages. Liam texted me, "Bro, you're going viral." I laughed, shaking my head. "Over the same necklace that got thrown in the trash." "Guess the world finally caught up," he replied. It was surreal. Orders came in, followers doubled, and for the first time, I had to tell people I couldn't take on more work. Still, in the middle of all that, part of me kept wondering how long it'd take before she found out. It didn't take long. A few days after the post went viral, I started getting calls from numbers I didn't recognize. At first, I ignored them, figured they were customers or spam. Then one day I got a text. "Hey, it's Sarah, can we talk?" I stared at it for a while, didn't reply. A few minutes later, another one came in. "I saw your necklace online. Everyone's talking about it." "That's the same one, isn't it?" Yeah, it was the same one. The cheap handmade junk she'd tossed in the trash. Now it had a name, apparently. People online were calling it the Moonlight Pendant. Influencers were showing it off, claiming it symbolized authenticity and self-worth. The irony wasn't lost on me. Luna & Coda was sold out. Claire told me there were dozens of people asking for pre-orders. "You might want to raise your prices," she said, laughing. "People are buying the story as much as the design." I thanked her, told her I'd bring more pieces in soon. The truth was, I hadn't even made another one yet. Every necklace I crafted by hand took hours, cutting, filing, polishing. But this time, every minute felt lighter. The next day, I stopped by a local coffee shop to drop off a custom piece for another client. As I was leaving, I saw Sarah across the street. She looked the same, well-dressed, hair done, phone in hand. But when she noticed me, her face changed. She crossed the street fast. "Hey," she said, slightly out of breath. "Hey. I've been trying to reach you," she said. "You saw my texts?" "I did," she nodded awkwardly. "So, that necklace. Everyone's talking about it. I saw a video about it on TikTok. I can't believe it's the same one." "Yeah," I said. "Crazy world." She hesitated, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Look, about that night. I was stupid. I shouldn't have said those things. I didn't know it meant so much." She paused, looking down for a moment before speaking again. "I mean, people are saying it's worth, what, thousands now? I even saw a post saying someone paid 12 grand for it." "That's what they're saying online," I said. "A collector bought one after Maya's post. Luna & Co. handled the sale. I didn't even set the price." Her eyes widened. $12,000? For the same necklace She stopped herself. "Wow, that's insane." "Yeah," I said. "Guess some people see value differently." She looked down for a second, then met my eyes again. "Maybe we could talk sometime? Get coffee or something?" "I've missed you, Sarah," I said quietly. "You didn't miss me. You missed the version of me that fits your idea of success." She didn't respond, just stood there shifting her bag on her shoulder. "I'm happy for you," she finally said. "Really, you deserve it." "Thanks," I said. "Take care of yourself." I walked away before she could say anything else. That night, I got another message. Longer this time. "I know I hurt you. I was shallow and cruel. I don't expect forgiveness, but please know I regret what I did. If there's any way to make it right, I'd like to try." I didn't answer. There wasn't anything to say that hadn't already been said by life itself. The next week, an article ran in a lifestyle magazine about the Moonlight pendant, how it started as a simple handmade gift and became a symbol of rediscovered value. They mentioned me by name, called me a rising designer redefining craftsmanship. Orders came from everywhere: New York, London, even Tokyo. Claire could barely keep up with the messages. One afternoon, she looked up from her laptop and said, "You know, I think people love this story because it's real. It's not about fame or money. It's about something being thrown away and still finding its worth." I smiled. "Yeah. Guess everyone wants to believe in second chances. Except, for me, this wasn't about second chances. It was about closure. The same necklace that once sat at the bottom of a trash can was now the reason my work finally got noticed. And the person who threw it away was the same one now watching from the sidelines, realizing what she'd lost." After that, Sarah stopped calling. Life moved on. The orders never stopped. What started as a small workshop quickly turned into a real business. I hired help, built a website, and couldn't keep up with the demand. The Moonlight pendant became my signature piece. People didn't just buy it for the design. They bought the story behind it. A few months later, I met someone new, Lena. She came into the shop looking for a gift for her sister. We ended up talking for an hour about art, travel, and how handmade things carry stories. She didn't care about brands or price tags. She cared about meaning. Now she sometimes helps me at the shop, stringing chains or wrapping boxes. Things are simple, honest, and easy. Claire once asked if I wanted to sell the original pendant. Someone offered 25 grand for it. I told her no. "Keep it in the front case," I said. "It's where it belongs." Every time I see it there, I'm reminded what gets thrown away isn't always worthless. Sometimes it's just waiting for the right person to see its value.